Hello and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. As you can see, I have no cool virtual background. This is a real background as I am traveling. This week's topic is who is right? Ooh, boy. Yeah, that can be an interesting conversation depending on who you're talking with. So before I go on, if you're new to my channel, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, perhaps the notification bell in case you'd like to be notified next time I do a new video. So let's move on to our topic. Who is right? Wow. Okay. So, let's start with this quote from one of my former coaches, T. Harv Eker, that I heard in one of our workshops. Actually, it was the Millionaire Mind workshop, which is very interesting. This is back in 2006 when I first went to that workshop and met all these amazing people, some of whom are still very, very, very dear friends of mine. So the quote is, you can be right or you can be happy. You can be right or you can be happy. Ooh, interesting choice, right? So there's a lot of stuff flying around in the media and social media about potential upcoming lockdowns. And part of me, I'm not sure which part of me, but part of me is like, no, it's a test. It's a test to see if we fall for it, right? And there's another part of me that's like, well, it's a deeper test to see if, it can convince those of us, whether it be the masses or those of us who think we're not part of the masses, to create that reality with our consciousness, because we keep, talking about it and pointing at it, myself included. Okay. There's those that are like scared of it. Then there are those that are like, hey guys, like, don't be scared. It's not happening if you don't let it happen. Right. So, but we're still talking about it. So on the one hand, we're like, oh boy, yeah, energetically, we may be propagating the exact scenario that we are not desiring to create. Okay, I get that. But beyond that, who is right? Who is right? Well, I think it a lot has to do with our personal perspectives, because we've been conditioned, believe it or not, to believe that conflict is bad. And yet we have people that represent us or seemingly represent us in our governments, etc., that are propagating perpetual war. So it seems. How is this even how does this happen, right? Well, could it be that we have war within ourselves and therefore it's reflected out into the universe? Possibly. On the other hand, is that correct? Is it like the actual ideal that we should never have conflict? Well, I would say that when it comes to war, probably is not in alignment with what most of us desire, right? I'm not talking about the profiteers from war, but just most humans desire peace. Would you agree? Okay. And then it's like, okay, well, we are also conditioned and taught to avoid conflict. But is that always, quote unquote, right? How do we determine what is right? Well, I thought of a formula. You can decide whether it's for you, because I'm not trying to prove I'm right. So the formula is this, is whatever it is you're talking about, okay, is it in alignment with your personal truth, who you are, and what it is you desire to create or manifest in this reality on this planet? So whatever that is right for you. So perhaps what is right for us is not right for someone else. Perhaps what is right in the big picture is what works. What works for me may not work for another person. If another person has been, for example, someone who feels entitled to certain things, maybe entitled to, make fun of you, abuse you, take advantage of you, that kind of thing. When you put your boundaries up, that may feel right and aligned for you, but it doesn't feel right to them because, hey, this is a sudden change, right? And I can no longer, I'm not allowed to do these things to this person, but I feel like I am right. I deserve those things, right? So right is relative. Right is relative. So let's go back to avoiding conflict. Part of what we learn growing up through church potentially, or our parents, or schools, is that conflict is bad and we should probably avoid conflict at all costs. When that comes to war, and genocide and things like that, that does make sense, doesn't it? However, what about our daily lives? Don't we run into conflict on a regular basis? And if you say, no, never, I'd be like, interesting. Maybe you are avoiding conflict. Here's the thing. Humans are unique. We are different. We have different energies. We have different traumas, if you will. We have different experiences growing up. So yes, we are going to perceive the world differently, and that can cause conflict. But instead of running from conflict, we can actually face it and get curious. And what is it about? Why is it that that person perceives things this way and I perceive things another way? It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to create a piece of the kind that you're looking for. I know for, decades, I kept wanting this, for lack of a better term, like ooey gooey, close connected, family life, right? But I can't control other people, and my attempts to control back in the day backfired because my personal truth of what I desired, what I thought was right, what I thought family should be like, is not necessarily in alignment with other people's truths and other people's experiences. And I'm getting to know, understand, acknowledge, accept all of that now, and more as time goes on. So accepting people for where they're at, even if it's different from where I'm at. So conflict, I believe, is inevitable as humans, but it doesn't have to turn out in war. It doesn't have to turn out to a bad thing. It can go into curiosity and then compassion as well. So is there another way of, propagating what we feel is right for us? Well, we can certainly speak our truth for sure. And in doing so, we do risk that other people may not understand us and may not jive with us. And can we be okay with that, right? Can we release the conflict within so that we can speak our own personal truth, heal our own personal realities, and at the same time allow others to do the same without controlling them? So on the question of who is right, the answer could be, well, it depends on the context we're talking about, right? When we're talking about rightness in terms of an alignment with what it is the majority or the mass consciousness desires, which for the most part, I believe, I could be wrong, but for what I've observed, most people, if not the grand majority of humans, desire peace, prosperity, love, connection, community, harmony, that their needs, survival needs, if you will, are met, and they get to share their unique gifts with the world, whether they're conscious of that need or wish or not. That's what I observe to be true in this reality. But I'm open to being wrong. So when it comes to who is right, then if that assumption is true, then what is right is what is in alignment with that reality that people desire to create. So it's more about not judging right and wrong, but more like an alignment and what works versus what doesn't work. On the other hand, if someone's personal truth is that, hey, I've got to erect these healthy boundaries that I haven't had for decades, and that pisses someone off, and they try to punish, me, or I don't know, cut me out of their lives or whatever that is. I can allow that. I don't have to say, well, I'm right, you're wrong. You see? Because according to what they desire, they are right. They desire what they want me to do, right? Or to behave like. And according to my personal perception, I could be right because I desire healthy boundaries and not to be taken advantage of, or, be with folks who denigrate or demean me or put me down or whatever, right? So you see how that can be relative? So if we're willing to let go of our thoughts that there is just one right and a wrong, then I believe that we can get to a greater sense of freedom and connection. And this propagates, permutates, whatever the word is, to all different areas. It could be the rights and wrongs of, should you eat meat versus should you be a vegan? It could be, should you drive an electric car versus, a gas-powered car? I mean, there's all these arguments back and forth about these things. And again, it kind of depends on your perspective, where you come from, what your personal truth is, what is in alignment with what you desire to create. And here's the cool thing I think is cool, is that I really have some great respect for people who are willing to change their minds with new information. And maybe that's because I enjoy that in myself and I love that about myself. And so therefore I can love that in other people as well. Is that when presented with new data, I make a choice. Go, well, I have believed X for this many decades, but now I have new data. And now I go, well, that actually makes more sense and is more in alignment with that greater future reality of love, joy, peace, harmony, prosperity for all. So now I'm going to shift to this for now, right? And unless there's new data that comes up. And I have really great respect for people who are able to do that. Now, do we necessarily have to say, well, I was wrong? You could if you wanted to, but it's more like misconception versus a mistake. It's not really wrong. It was just like given the information that I had in the past, like, low-fat diets are healthy, given to us from medical school, that we go, oh, wait, there's other data there that I didn't know about. Wow, low-fat diets may be unhealthy. Maybe low-salt diets are unhealthy. Oh my gosh, there's all this new data that I wasn't aware of. So then there's a different thing. But back then, I felt really right. Yeah, hate to admit it. And now it's more like, okay, well, this works for the moment. And until it stops working and there's something that works better, then this will be my path. So who is right? It all depends on your perspective. So let's do a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation to bring about some peace related to all of this. So if you're ready and you wish to join in, you can just make the intention to receive, and then we can get into the still point together. If it's safe for you to do so, you can go ahead and rub your hands, get them nice and hot, get some energy moving, and then release, and then close your eyes. Go ahead and focus on the inside of your body, focus on your hands, feel the movement, the heat, the waves, the tingles, whatever you feel in your hands, and follow that flow wherever it goes. We enter the 0 point together, whether it is past, present, or future that you are considering. And I'll speak some TOLPAKAN healing directives, and you just make the intention to receive if you'd like to receive an activation. And now command that all those energies that we have been taught that no longer serve us about judgments, rights, and wrongs be deleted, dissolved, non-created, and rewired to something that does work for the peace, love, harmony, connection, and community for all humans on the planet and beyond. With ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Thank you. It is now commanded that the energies and the blueprint of being in our higher self and our witness to whatever's going on, realizing that we or just having a human experience as a spiritual being, that knowing and that blueprint be downloaded and activated in us in the highest and best way, these being in grace in all timelines where we exist. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's now commanded that whatever's preventing us from truly connecting with each other on a level way beyond right and wrong, on that level of joy, peace, love, unity, consciousness, throughout things that may feel conflictual, that be healed and resolved with ease, being, and grace in the highest and best way, all directions of time with ease, in all timelines where we exist. Thank you. So just feel into that feeling, receiving the activation, and feel free to add whatever other activation that you would like now. I'll be silent for a moment. All right, it's not commanded this healing be integrated and grounded with ease, being, and grace in the highest and best way for this and all our blessings. We give our thanks and gratitude, so be it, and so it is. So some announcements for this week. At the lovely chance to interview Dr. Mara Zapatera, who's got an MD, PhD from Harvard, about the consciousness of the CSF, the cerebral spinal fluid. Now, if you've been following TOLPAKAN Healing for a while, or one of the students, you may have remembered that multiple times I mentioned fascial water, easy water, the water in our bodies, that the water store, source information, consciousness, things like that. Well, it's really nice to have a scientist talk about these things, So we had a lovely interview, and would love for you to listen to the airing of the interview on Monday, 12 noon on Light Warrior Radio. So we're going to talk about the evolution of the CSF as the light-infused information conduit, if you will, the potential of memory-holding power of the watery substance in the CSF, bridging the gap between the metaphysical and physical through the cerebral spinal fluid, exploring the idea of CSF as a luminous consciousness battery, and then embracing the consciousness breath work to amplify our inner light. Yes, a little hint on how to shift things to more of what we desire. So listen to it on Monday at 12 noon, the airing with Dr. Mara Zapatera. Some other announcements. Well, my friend and wonderful colleague Lloyd Burrell has his documentary launching in early October. So you can sign up now. There's free gifts involved. It's called Electric Universe, U as in Y-O-U. And it includes several luminaries, including Lynn McTaggart, Dr. Bruce Lipton, some of my fellow colleagues that I absolutely love what they're sharing. And it's all about the unseen toxins in our environment, EMFs, and what to do about them, how to protect ourselves in our human form from these energies. And much to my surprise, I'm in the film. Apparently. So yay. So you can register for that film, get the free gifts in the link that we will share below this video. And we have, I think, one day left for the replay of The Sacred Economy and the New Story of Money, Healing Our Collective Money Wounds, that was shared in the Light Medicine community. So I'm going to go ahead and share the link in the below the video. Please note that you'll want to be part of the Light Medicine community to watch this. It's free to sign up. It's just a private space where we can speak freely, in there with loving intentions. So we'd love for you to join that as well. And last but not least, we have our monthly mini healings happening Tuesday at 11 a.m. when I get back home. So looking forward to hearing from you, what desires you have for your personal healing, and sending lots of love and healing to you. That's it for this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace and love to you. Until next time, bye for now.